Welcome to my channel. Today I have an eerie tale of Willow Creek, a small town with a haunting past. In this story, we explore the mystery surrounding the death of renowned scientist, Dr. Kindel, and the terrifying events that followed. As rumors of his spirit haunting the lab spread throughout the town, a group of curious teenagers decided to explore the abandoned lab and encountered something beyond their wildest nightmares. The legend of Dr. Kindel's ghost still haunts Willow Creek to this day, and those who dare to venture close to his lab may face the same fate as the unfortunate teenagers. Join us on this spine-tingling journey and discover the truth behind the curse of Willow Creek. Before we begin, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Okay, let's begin. It was a cold, dark night in the small town of Willow Creek. The moon was hidden behind a thick layer of clouds, casting an eerie glow over the quiet streets. The trees swayed back and forth in the wind, their branches creaking like old bones. No one was on the streets. They all said that the town was haunted, and after what happened to Dr. Kindel, they aren't willing to take chances. Dr. Kindel was a renowned scientist who worked at the local hospital. He didn't have any family, friends, or a social life. He was always busy with his work, and that's why no one noticed when he disappeared. But when his body was found, everyone was shaken to the core. He was found in his lab, his body twisted and contorted in a strange manner, his eyes staring into space, unseeing. His lab was locked from the inside, and no one knew what happened. Everyone was afraid that Dr. Kindel's death was due to some unknown, dangerous experiment that he was working on. The authorities decided to keep the case closed, but rumors started circulating about Dr. Kindel's spirit haunting the lab. People whispered that they could hear strange noises coming from the lab at midnight, and that the ghost of Dr. Kindel could be seen through the window. One day, a group of curious teenagers decided to explore the abandoned lab. They had heard the rumors and wanted to see for themselves. They cautiously entered the dark and silent lab, their footsteps echoing throughout the room. The moonlight filtered through the dusty windows, casting strange shadows throughout the room. As they walked deeper into the lab, they suddenly heard a strange noise from behind them. They turned around, but nothing was there. They continued to walk, but every few seconds they would hear the noise again. It sounded like a Labrador breathing. Suddenly, one of the teenagers saw something move in the corner of his eye. He quickly turned, but there was nothing there, his heart racing. He tried to calm himself down, but then he heard something scratching against the metal table. They all froze as the sound grew louder. Slowly, they turned around to see a pale, twisted version of Dr. Kindel with glowing eyes standing behind the metal table. His body was decaying and disintegrating at the same time, as if he was both dead and alive. The teenagers stood there, frozen with fear. Dr. Kindel suddenly lunged forward, grabbing one of the teenagers by the throat. The other two tried to run, but the door was locked. They were trapped. Dr. Kindel had them cornered, and his victims could hear him breathing heavily, the sound of his decaying lungs like a nightmare. As they lay there, they watched as Dr. Kindel's body started to melt and decompose, his limbs falling off one by one. His eyes were still glowing with a fierce light, and his mouth let out an unearthly and inhuman sound. And then, without warning, he disappeared into thin air. The teenagers were never the same again. They spent the rest of their lives in a state of perpetual fear, never knowing when Dr. Kindel's spirit would come back to haunt them. The town of Willow Creek was left with a terrible legend of a mad scientist who went too far, resurrecting himself from the dead to seek revenge on the living. It was said that Dr. Kindel's ghost still haunts that lab to this day, and that anyone who ventures inside will be cursed. They say his spirit still roams the streets at night, in search of new victims to torment. So, if you're ever in Willow Creek, be careful not to venture too close to that lab, or you might hear a Labrador breathing and come face to face with the pale, twisted Dr. Kindel's wrath. And there you have it, the chilling story of Dr. Kindel and the cursed town of Willow Creek. It's a story that has become a part of the town's history, and one that will continue to be passed down for generations to come. While some may dismiss it as mere superstition, others believe that the ghost of Dr. Kindel still haunts the lab to this day, seeking revenge on those who dare to cross his path. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, one thing is for sure. The town of Willow Creek will always be a place of mystery and intrigue, forever shrouded in the shadows of its haunted past. So, if you ever find yourself near Willow Creek, be warned, you never know what secrets may be lurking in the darkness. Before you go, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel.